morning, folks. This is Deb Delapiana, and this is your Chain Reaction Report. You know, this morning we're going to talk about Donald J. Trump. Now, I have a lot of really great names for Donald Trump. I refer to him often as the Orange Jackaloon. I call him the dime store dictator. I've called him shit in a suit. You know, there's all kinds of names you can use for Donald Trump. But there's one universal name that you can use for him that is accurate 24/7, and that's lying sack of shit. So when I saw the poll from the NRDC, the poll that was out there on the web last night, was Donald Trump a better leader during a crisis? I almost peed myself laughing. In your fucking dreams, folks. You know, I was going to present this, on Zoom with all of these articles up so people could see. But, I've decided not to go that way. The history of what Donald Trump has done to create this problem in America with vaccines and with COVID-19 is vast, quite vast. I will put all of this information in this video. It's up to you to look at it. Donald Trump's foray into anti-vax attitudes started well before COVID. It started around 2016 when he was tweeting about, something to the effect of perfectly normal children go to the doctor, get loaded up on vaccine, and boom, autism. Again, parroting the already discredited and disgraced Andrew Wakefield, who was exposed as a fraud by Brian Deere, and we have shown you that not only in the anti-vax videos we made, but in the live streams that we do. We presented all of that evidence. We presented all of the evidence that proves that Dr. Andrew Wakefield was a scientific fraud, and he was a scientific fraud for financial gain. And, Donald Trump is also a fraud. Donald Trump spread fraudulent information and lies about COVID-19 for political gain. At one point, he even discussed maybe we can put people with COVID in Guantanamo. This is all in the public view, okay? He repeatedly stated that at the beginning of this pandemic, that this thing was just going to go away. It's just going to, go away. As soon as the weather gets warm, COVID-19 will go away because it doesn't do well in the heat, without any scientific evidence whatsoever. He literally took the world's leading infectious disease specialist and destroyed his reputation in public. A man who has, by the way, been giving the Presidential Medal of Freedom by George W. Bush for his work on the AIDS crisis, Anthony Fauci. And Anthony Fauci's research in AIDS is what has turned AIDS from a 100% mortality rate epidemic into a chronic disease that people actually live quite a while with. Larry Kramer, for example, a famous LGBT cultural figure, lived to be 85 years old with AIDS. More and more people are living almost full lives with AIDS. Magic Johnson's still here. And the reason these people are still here is because of Anthony Fauci's research. And I know there's a lot of people on the right who are AIDS deniers too. And you know what? I'm kind of fucking tired of it all. He not only did that, but his administration withheld information, forced the CDC to change their reports. He pumped up the use of hydroxychloroquine as a solution to the problem when, yes, indeed, it was being studied, but it had been determined that it did absolutely nothing to help cure COVID-19. And it also did nothing to prevent it, because if indeed Donald Trump was taking hydroxychloroquine as he said he did, he got a case of COVID, and he was actually way, way sicker than people were led to believe. We have all of this evidence. We will put all of this in here. Under Donald Trump's administration, more than 400,000 people died. Right now, we have over 800,000 people dead in the United States. And we have a problem in this country called anti-vax attitude and vaccine hesitancy. All of this vaccine hesitancy has been promoted by Donald Trump and the right wing. And Donald Trump, from the very beginning of COVID, his first worry was not for you, the American people, the people who pay his salary, and the people, by the way, who put him in office to begin with. He wasn't worried about you. He was worried about it adversely affecting his opportunity to get reelected. And he made sure that he would not get reelected by mishandling this pandemic willfully. Nobody stole this election from Donald Trump. It was his to lose from the beginning, and he did. Instead of standing up, exercising some behavior that looked like you were a leader, he chose to become a misinformation specialist, touting nutbags like Dr. Stella Emanuel from Nigeria, who also believes in alien DNA and that diseases are caused by demons. In fact, her little Texas storefront medical facility is in the same strip mall as her church, where she preaches about alien DNA. Dr. Stella Emanuel, he chose to promote while he vilified Anthony Fauci, a woman who openly stated that the government was hiding the miraculous cure of hydroxychloroquine. She insisted she cured 350 people from COVID on her own with that medication. She provided absolutely no evidence whatsoever that she did. Had she really been, defying the current scientific thinking and cured 350 people, she would have had proof of that. And she would have had proof to show people. She did not. We're talking about the President of the United States, who at the insurrection, and let's call it for what it is, had a doctor named Carrie Maydedge there talking to people about how the vaccine, which he, by the way, wanted to be named after him, touting the vaccine as something satanic, 666, with chips in it so that you could be tracked by the government. You've been tracked by the government for fucking ever, people. They do not need to inject chips into your bloodstream for that. When the leader of the free world acts like a medical misinformation specialist, a liar, and a purveyor of false information, he can hardly be called a leader. He's a liar. He recently, in an article, called for Joe Biden to resign in disgrace over the COVID surge. Either you believe in this disease or you don't believe in this disease. Donald Trump believes in this disease when it's politically expedient, just like he downplayed this disease and put millions of people in jeopardy for political expediency. Because that's what Donald Trump is all about. He's all about Donald Trump, the dime store dictator. That's exactly what he is. He's trash in a suit. Remember that old saying about you can't put lipstick on a pig? You put trash in a suit and it still stinks for miles. Donald Trump is responsible for mishandling the COVID-19 pandemic. He insisted the Obama administration didn't leave him any information whatsoever. That's a lie, too. There was actually a pandemic playbook left behind. And by the way, Mitch McConnell, when confronted with that fact, admitted that he was wrong about Obama not leaving something behind. The reason, my friends, that you have, the meetings like you had with Johns Hopkins University and philanthropists and government officials and CDC officials and NIH officials is that pandemics, my friend, have been around forever. And there will be another one after COVID. And it is the role of government to be prepared for such things. It's the role of governments around the world to be prepared for such things. We've heard forever that this isn't a pandemic. You know what a pandemic is? It's a disease that crosses borders. This illness is in every country, in every continent on the fucking planet. It qualifies as a pandemic. We now have more people dead in this nation than died during the 1918 flu pandemic. In a country that is arguably the richest nation in the world, we have the best scientists in the world, the best research universities in the world, Johns Hopkins being one of them. And we have 808,000 people dead as of this morning. I believe, today, that was the other day. I think it's 815,000 dead. I'll put the numbers in here for today. I track them every day. The bottom line here is Donald Trump mishandled this. Not only did he mishandle it, but he's not being held accountable. Even his dictatorial counterpart in Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro, who, by the way, Donald Trump endorsed for re-election, just in case you're wondering what his intentions are. Take a good look at the people he associates with. Jair Bolsonaro, the Brazilian Senate has recommended he be prosecuted for mishandling COVID-19. In this country, nothing. You want to know why? Because ultimately, the power to give hold him accountable comes from the people. The people in the United States, you don't hold anybody accountable. You can talk about posting on Facebook, whatever you want. You think that's holding somebody accountable? That's not holding somebody accountable. You hold somebody accountable when you vote. You hold somebody accountable when you contact your representatives. You hold somebody accountable when you set up meetings with your representatives and talk to them. And tell them your feelings. Your representatives aren't looking for you personally on Facebook. They don't even have to look at you there. I've said this before and I said it again. The people confer power upon politicians. They also have the power to take that away. Right now, in my opinion, you know what? The Democrats are worried about continuing to punish the GOP because they know they'll retaliate. So we're dragging our feet on doing anything with Lauren Boebert. You people, if you're disgusted with what she did to Ilhan Omar, you ought to be calling your representatives and tell them to cut the shit. Let's put the hammer down. The fact that we are even discussing the potential re-election of Donald Trump after COVID-19, all of his criminal activities that are being investigated right now, the insurrection, the fact that we can even be discussing putting him on a ballot again in this country is atrocious. It shows just how disengaged the American people are from their reality. And stop complaining that you're disheartened by what you see. If you're not angry, you're not doing anything. And I'm not talking about breaking into the Capitol building to reinstall a dictator either. That wasn't, that wasn't the people conferring power or taking power away. That was an insurrection. And that too, my friends, was started by Donald Trump and his administration, or there wouldn't have been burner phones. People better wake up to the reality here. They had better wake up to the reality. To call Donald Trump any kind of leader is an affront to the human race, actually. Donald Trump is a liar who downplayed the COVID-19 crisis, who lied about the previous administration providing him with a blueprint, And if you think this is the last pandemic that's going to happen, as global warming becomes a bigger reality, yes, I hate to say this, right-wingers, but that's a real fucking fact as well. As global warming becomes a bigger reality, pandemics may become more frequent. We've already heard that from several scientists. In fact, we heard from the scientist who was behind the UK vaccine saying the next pandemic could be even worse. People better get a clue here. But to call Donald Trump a better leader than Joe Biden is just fucking ridiculous. And you know what? Let me make one thing absolutely clear. I have been a critic of both sides of the aisle. But right now, Joe Biden was left with this mess, and part of this mess is also caused by Donald Trump's failure to acknowledge that the election was legitimate and his administration's failure and stalling the transition. If you don't think the stalling of the transition stopped the rollout of the vaccine that was created, then you're very naive. I'll talk to you all later. Oh, by the way, all of this evidence will be in this video. I suggest you read. If you don't know how to read, you should learn.